Hi, I'm Russell D. Jones on the floor of Gen Con with G6 Mafia. We're here at the Fantasy Flight booth, and I'm talking with Anton, who is the manager of international marketing. Is that right?
That's it, international marketing manager.
Right. So many things have come out this year from Fantasy Flight.
Yeah.
Could you just give us a, I don't know, kind of an overview of some of the crazy stuff that you guys are putting out for us?
Well, biggest Gen Con ever is an understatement. I think that's true across the hall. There's a larger exhibitor hall this year. There's more people here than I've seen ever, so that's very exciting. But for Fantasy Flight, we have not only brought and debuted more product than ever in the past, we've announced more things in the past 2 weeks than ever has happened. So it has just been a blistering, we're working at a blistering pace, and we actually now get to debut things for demo. For example, Star Wars Armada. This is a tactical capital fleet battle game set in the Star Wars universe with beautiful pre-painted capital ships, squadrons of TIE fighters and X-Wings, the Star Destroyers, the Corellian Corvette. There's a ton of action going on over there. It's a deeper, longer game than X-Wing, which is a skirmish dogfighting game. So the feel is very different, and players are just...
Yeah, finally get to use some capital-sized ships and really do some large-scale battles.
Yes, commanding hundreds of people, hundreds of crew on a ship is very different from just buzzing around and doing a K-turn in a light starfighter. Right. So that's very exciting to show.
But that's not the only Star Wars thing that
is not.
That has come out. What else do we got?
So yesterday at 12 noon, the CEO, Christian Peterson, gives an annual address. He talks about, that's his in-flight report, and then people come and see it every year. So we had a capacity crowd of 250 individuals. More than 250 showed up to watch Chris announce a whole list of items. But for Star Wars, we've announced Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Okay.
Imperial Assault is a giant box, the deepest box that we've released to date, that is filled up with minis. It is a tactical miniatures RPG board game set in the Star Wars universe. It is the core mechanics of Descent, but with one Imperial player and multiple Rebel players. So you're going to be fighting against the evil Empire if you're the Rebel, or you're going to be trying to tamp down the Rebellion, mission after mission in campaign mode. There's a fantastic set of missions in the book. But the game also includes a skirmish set of rules. So if you love minis games, if you love the Star Wars universe, a 2-player skirmish game is in the box. You build your squads based with the units that you choose from all the minis in the box, and you get down on a map and like scrap it out.
So, and this is a largely ground-based game, which is sort of like kind of filling out the missing piece with all the different space-based.
Absolutely. So you're actually playing across map tiles. You don't play on a tabletop like you would X-Wing or Imperial Assault, but it is single units, beautiful figures. There's an AT-ST in the box. I mean, looks great. It is amazing. We've been working on this for a really long time, and finally get to show it here. And people are playing at Gen Con. If you were there, I hope you got a chance to try it out.
See it. It looks awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
So now all these other sort of side Star Wars releases had some of the X-Wing players a little worried, but you guys kind of had a surprise waiting for them.
Right. So announcing Wave 6. People have grown used to waves of releases. Wave 6 is a brand new faction. So you can play as the Imperial, you can play Imperial, you can play Rebel, but now you can also choose to play as Scum and Villainy.
Which is awesome.
All right, the Scum and Villainy faction should be out right at the end of the year.
Great.
And will include the Star Viper, which is the Virago, a lot of people know as the Virago. We've got the IG-88's ship, the IG-2000.
Super exciting.
Which is a slightly larger ship, and then a small Hutt-Seek fighter. It's the M3A Interceptor. Again, beautifully pre-painted. They're fantastic models. In addition, there's a box that has 3 ships in it. It's an alternate paint Y-Wing and 2 Z95 Headhunters, and that is called Most Wanted. That's the name of the product. What that includes are the actual punch board and cards, so that you can fly Y-Wings and Headhunters as Scum and Villainy ships. So these are going to be very different. They're different pilots. But not only that, it includes the punch board and cards that you can take the Slave 1 and the Hawk 290 and fly them not as Imperial ships or Rebel ships, but fly them as well in the Scum and Villainy faction.
The army.
It's a ton of exciting new content for everybody.
Yeah, a whole new faction to support.
A whole new faction with 7 playable ships right out of the gate at launch.
That's so excellent. So, in addition to Star Wars, you got a couple of games that are only demoing today and not available for sale. You want to tell us about those? Let's talk about XCOM.
Yeah.
We just got a chance to demo it ourselves.
Excellent.
But tell us just a little bit about it.
XCOM, the board game. XCOM is has just recently released a phenomenal new version of what people know have played in the past, right? XCOM is a fantastic tactical squad-based board game that is digital. I mean, it really is. It's turn-based. You've got action points. So we looked at that as a license and said, well, rather than take a game that is already a phenomenal board game but in digital form and bring it to the tabletop, let's look at what XCOM, that setting, provides. So it's a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. You are all members of XCOM Defense Force and you are monitoring the skies, looking for alien invaders, and then staving off the alien invasion. What we chose to do, though, is introduce a digital element. There is a mandatory digital app that will be released for free at the time this game is available. It is available for Android and iOS, Mac, PC, and on the web. So if you don't have any of those devices, you can play on a desktop with a web page.
Anything you got.
Right? We try to support as broad of a player base as we can. The AI in the game is going to do things that is far more than just randomizing elements. What we have been, we now have the liberty to play with game design and game mechanics and interaction with the players in a way that has a very light need to track items, so players don't need to enter in 50 points of information every turn.
Kind of downplay the math a little bit.
Yeah, there's not a lot of that. It moves very quickly, but then we'll very cleverly challenge the players in very exciting ways and in ways that will surprise you. There's a timed element each round, and there's an untimed element. And I played this and we lost horribly. The world is in my hands is doomed if UFOs appear. But it's a fantastic, new, innovative opportunity for us.
Do you think this is a direction that games are going? I mean, when we got to check it out, the app apparently it'll change every time. It'll change its strategy.
Absolutely.
Things won't happen in the same order. Different attacks, different. You won't be researching, you won't be fighting aliens at the same time, any of that.
There's actually there's a panic level, for example. There's a panic level where the panic level of different countries is tracked. As countries, panic level is raised. Depending on your success or failure, they may stop funding. So funding is one of the first pieces of information you learn every round is like, well, how many billions of dollars is the world giving us to help defend it? And if you're not being too successful, they may choose to invest in other things that don't involve XCOM Defense Force. So Eric M. Lang is the designer of this game. He's someone with whom we've worked for many years. He's a brilliant guy. He's a fantastic human being. And he is devious and not to be trusted. Don't trust Eric. So he has put some really clever, really fun things in the game that you will discover. There's not even a rule book. There's a 4-page intro pamphlet that you will see. The cover says, hello, this is XCOM. The back is a board shot. And there's essentially 1 page of setup, really. Everything else is driven in the app.
That's amazing.
So for new gamers, they're going to be able to jump in a way they haven't. But this is, for us, is a supplementary line. Okay, we are a tabletop gaming company for sure. But this is just a space we believe deserves to be explored and that deserves to have innovative releases. So we'll see how that goes.
We're really excited about that one, I think, in particular.
I'm glad you got a chance to play.
So the other one, The Witcher, I'd like to talk about. Now, we haven't gotten to see that much yet, so tell us a little bit about that.
So The Witcher is there's a series of novels, there's a series of video games.
Absolutely.
And The Witcher 3 will release sometime early next year, and I know that people are really clamoring. Fans have been waiting and just starting to respond to footage that they've seen of in-game play. Ignacy Trzewiczek, apologies for the pronunciation, Ignacy, is a fantastic designer that has many titles to his credit, is very celebrated, a great guy, also very clever and devious. He's also a huge fan of The Witcher. He's a Polish gentleman and decided that he wanted to engage players, fans of The Witcher or fans of adventure games, in a tabletop experience that is not cooperative, but is not antagonistic. Each player is going to play as one of 4 known characters from The Witcher, including Geralt and Triss Merigold and Dandelion and Yarpen the Dwarf. Each of the 4 player experiences is unique, So as characters in the game, the mechanics are going to be different. Yarpin, in fact, has a number of small dwarves in his companions,
of course,
and so is looking to manage those as resources in the game.
Awesome.
Geralt is a beast in combat. All the players have unique dice that they will use in combat. You travel around the world, gathering information, gathering resources and support to try and fulfill quests. I mean, so it's an adventure game, classic adventure game, wandering this land, with some cool innovations from Ignacy and his particular view of game design.
So did he bring the idea to you guys at Fantasy Flight, or did you approach him, you know, say, hey, we want you to design this game?
Well, we are working with CD Projekt Red and Ignacy, and so in this realm, right, of entertainment, this board game realm, these things happen organically, right? CD Projekt Red and we were talking, and Ignacy had been talking, and decided, you know, like, this is great. We would love to sort of execute and fulfill this on the tabletop. And so then our designers get involved and, like, you know, work jointly. And the end result is going to be, I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I hope that you demoed it here at Gen Con. We can't wait to see it later this year. It's a very cool experience to take a video game and, again, show you not that video game on the table, but really expose a new side of what you may be familiar with. So take the lore, take the setting, take some of what you know, and introduce something brand new.
Yeah, oh, it sounds really exciting. We definitely want to check that one out.
Awesome.
So I think maybe the last thing I would like to ask you,
yes,
for the Warhammer fans, what's new for Warhammer?
So we've worked with GW for many years, and we love the GW setting. I've played for decades Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and we are fortunate enough to work with those licenses, right, to introduce new stories and new experiences in the worlds of Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40,000. So at Gen Con, we've launched, actually for sale, debuted for sale, Warhammer 40,000 Conquest, the card game. So this is a living card game. It's non-collectible, but it is a customizable card game that has 7 playable factions out of the box.
Wow.
So if you get the core set, $40 core set, you have 7 different game experiences, 7 different warlords, so Space Marines, the Tau, the Eldar, the Orcs, Chaos. You have a warlord and their associated retinue, these set of cards that will come with the warlord, and then you build a deck around that. And these are, if you know the Warhammer 40,000 world, you will see and recognize all of the items in here, the events and the attachments, right? And the mechanics all play to that dark grim future. It is a head-to-head game for 2 players, and you, as your warlords, are meeting in the galaxy and actually attempting to gain control of multiple planets over the course of the game. I think the greatest innovation, in addition to the ally, there's an ally matrix where you can be Space Marines and ally with other factions, which is very cool, but how you have to build your strategy both for the current planet on which there is a battle occurring, but also these other planets that have certain resources and certain benefits for controlling. So you're weighing my needs today and where does my warlord need to go to support the battle with where do I need to be tomorrow, where do I need to be the 3rd turn, the 4th turn to try and win, prevail against your opponent.
So it has these sort of missions or objectives that might differentiate it from doing just a regular like tabletop.
Oh, absolutely.
Warhammer.
Yes, but like in the Warhammer 40,000 tabletop game, there's a scenario, right? There's some elements of what is occurring at this battle. In Warhammer 40,000 Conquest, these battles are going to occur across a number of planets as the game progresses, and you shuffle a deck of 10, you deal out 7, and you turn up 5 of them. So you see the next 5 turns, 2 of them are hidden, and a couple of them are in the box and you don't even know.
Interesting.
So you now need to build a strategy that will last throughout the game. You can't carelessly go in. Another thing that's interesting is the battles are really, really, they're very epic. You will fight to the death. So as you're fighting at a planet and you've committed forces, it isn't a matter of, oh, yeah, they're exhausted for 1 turn. No, you will continue resolving a battle until one force has been wiped off the face of the planet. So you really need to think and commit when it is time to commit and retreat when it is time to retreat. It's a lot of fun. The tables have been filled all weekend long,
really
and we sold out of that. The first item to sell out this year.
That's not too surprising.
At Gen Con. So it's a fantastic game.
Awesome. So it really sounds like you guys have a ton of exciting stuff this year, and the fans will have no shortage of things to play in the coming year.
We're trying our best. We have more coming, but find a game you love, right?
Yeah.
And play with people that you like playing with, and that's the most important
Well,
thing.
it's great that there's so much to choose from. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
You got it.
So, from the floor of Gen Con, I'm Russ with D6 Mafia.